I should have done the follow-up presentation before I did that. And follow-up isn't my forte, it's one of my associates' forte, so we'll leave that for another meeting. I'm going to touch on it. But what I want to tell you is, do not spend $1 on marketing until you have a killer follow-up system. Jump into that third bullet point, we likely, between when I started in 2003, when I was literally writing leads on paper, till 2013, 14, when we got really good, I guarantee you that I lost over $1 million because I had crappy follow-up systems. Don't go out and spend money if you can't, one, take the phone call and then have an amazing way to call these people back and follow up with them. Right now is the greatest time in the world to start a business because of technology cost. You can get so much in a system. Brittany mentioned Podio. You can get so much in a system for 20, 30, 40 bucks a month that 10 years ago would have cost you $100,000 to do. So don't go out and spend any marketing dollars until you have that system of text, follow-up, phone calls, emails, and you can do that in a weekend. You can sit down and write 12 emails that the person will get every single month, and then you schedule phone calls. So lesson learned, don't market until you have that system. And I'm going to give you a couple. This is, again, we're just spending a couple of minutes on this because it's so important. Podio, a guy in Baltimore, Dan Schwartz, took Podio, which is a blank canvas, and created this amazing system for, it has all the bells and whistles. $167 a month, so it's kind of on the high side, but you can go to Sugar, you can go to Zoho, 20 bucks a month, and you can set up these follow-up systems. You guys have to do that. Take my word. Do that before you go out and put bandit signs, letters, anything, because you're going to be wasting money if you can't follow up on these leads. And these leads are expensive, as we know. It costs us anywhere between $100 and $400 to generate a lead. In San Diego now, the lead aggregators are selling individual leads for $375 a lead, a motivated seller lead. So they're expensive. So think about that. Every time your phone rings, you should look at that at least $100 bill. If you don't have a good follow-up system, don't make the phone ring because you're going to be wasting your money. Those advanced options, we use Infusionsoft. You guys don't need that right now. Unless you're doing massive volume, just stick with one of the easier solutions. I just put this link on there. I think Dan charges $199 a month. I asked him to give us a discount, and he did. He got it down to $167. That link is right there if you click on it. All right. So again, this was done on a Mac, and it doesn't translate. So when you guys open it up, the formatting issues may be gone. So number one, business cards with incentive. When I started out, I had business cards that said, I'll pay you. When I started, the referral fee was typically $1,000. Bring me a house and I'll give you $1,000. So I'm like, I'm going to do it different. I'm going to offer $3,000. If I can make $40,000 to $60,000 in a house, why am I going to pay someone $1,000? So we pay a $3,000 referral fee, and I gave those cards out. Everyone I talked to, Walmart, gas station, and I drummed up business. So do that. If you have a website, which you should, don't have Brad@AOL.com or Brad@Gmail. Have your website on there so they can go and check out your website. So Brad@ExpressHomeBuyers.com or Brad@TrustedHomeBuyers, whatever your company is. That you can do that for $50 or less. Vistaprint. You can get them for free now practically. Next one is meetup groups, real estate investing associations, online groups. I told you earlier, I got one of my first groups from that. I've met countless people at these events, so continue going to these events. They're great. Bring business cards, network like crazy. I've met tons of people on Bigger Pockets and RIAs. Actually, we spend nearly $2 million a year in marketing, and a lot of that's online. So we get leads from all over the country. Well, I couldn't find someone in Philadelphia. I got on Bigger Pockets yesterday, and now I've got like 3 people that I'm starting to send leads to in Philadelphia. So it's an incredible way to network. Again, great time to start a business because of technology and all the benefits that it gives. Nursing homes and retirement communities. I've got a friend in Hagerstown who called me last week and said, Brad, the last 6 times I've gone to this retirement home, I've gotten a deal, 6 deals out of it. And he says they're about 30% juicier than his normal deals. Not many people do this, but it's a great source because to move into the retirement community, a lot of times these folks have to sell their houses. So they're receptive. You can get, the participants in a room like this, they're receptive to have you because you're offering a solution that's going to help their business. Door hangers. I did a lot of this. This is a shotgun type approach, but if you guys are driving for dollars, you should definitely have a bunch of door hangers in your car. They're very, very cheap, and if you see a vacant house, we'll touch on that a bit, but it's just another, another tool in your arsenal. Have door hangers. You can probably get those done for $50 to $100. Have a compelling call to action on there, a website, telephone number. Bandit signs. There's, some people think bandit signs are terrible. Some people think they're great. We were, when I started my business, again, had no money, and my partner and I were out dodging the sniper back in 2002, if you guys remember that long ago. We were literally 11 o'clock at night dressed in black, putting those signs on telephone poles and stuff. And they work. They work. You can spend anywhere from, we were spending thousands of dollars a month at one point in time. I had the city director of Frederick drive down from Frederick, Maryland to deliver me $2,000 worth of fines because one day we put like 150 bandit signs down this one road. So you got to be careful. You have to be really careful about this because there's some municipalities that will just take you to court. I mean, it's really bad, so be careful. The city of Alexandria, I know DC is tough. Vienna's pretty tough, so be careful when you're doing that. Make sure that you're following the laws. Direct mail. Direct mail is something that we failed at until about a year ago, and we're starting to get really good at it. We're currently mailing 100,000 pieces a month, and we're doing more and more tests to refine our message and get our conversion rates up. But with direct mail, you want to mail every month for 7 to 12 months. If you don't have the marketing dollars to at least do 4 to 5 mailings to a list, don't waste your time. Direct mail isn't like some other mediums. It takes time. So when you look at your budget, figure out what you can spend, break it down to, okay, I can spend this much per month, so how many mailers can I get? And then mail that maximum amount and do it. You've got to be consistent, just like with everything in life. You want to lose weight, you want to work out, you want to be healthy. You got to be consistent about it. So be consistent and you'll start to see the results. Back in 2003, my sister was a stay-at-home mom in Charlottesville, and while the kids were at school, she would hand address envelopes. Well, I got a call one day from a lady, and she said, literally, I wasn't planning on selling my house, but I just got your 6th letter. I'll sell my house. She had a tenant in the property, didn't want to deal with it, which is one of the 4 main categories that we get people. People just, they'll have relatives in there that they don't want to kick out. They'll be scared because the person's not paying rent and they don't want to kick them out. So we get a lot of those deals. Anyway, got the tenant out, sold the house, and I think I made $43,000. The medium and message change every month if you have the money. If you don't, it's fine. I know a lot of investors that send the same postcard every month around this country and they're killing it. It's more about consistency than the message. However, different messages work better with different people. So we're going to start testing letters. They're much more expensive, but we think that the letters are going to have a much higher conversion rate than the postcard. So if you guys have the ability to test those things, test those things. And again, with technology and the follow-up systems, a lot of that stuff is trackable. So when you get a lead, you'll put it in. At the end of the month, you can say, okay, I got 20 callback from the postcards. Well, next month, I'm going to send the same amount of letters. And then, did you get 40? And then you can track and you can say, okay, well, letters cost me this much, postcards cost me this much, I got this much per lead, or, I got one deal out of this. Is it worth it? And then you guys just have to decide what's, is it worth spending extra money on the letters? Charles, are we okay? You originally told me 90 minutes?
Yeah,
we good? Okay. Okay. Our mail house is trywin.com. They're out of Texas. We're mailing postcards, and again, we do a lot of them, but we're mailing postcards with everything at about 32, 33 cents. So again, you'll hear me speak about this mastermind group. I'm in a nationwide mastermind group, so we've done a lot of research. I think these guys are one of the cheapest in the nation, so check them out. I don't know if they have minimums or anything, but they're great to work with. So that budget, literally, you can go from $50 to, I've got $10,000 a month. We're spending a lot more than that. So it's a direct mail. You can go big, or you can either way will work. Time and money. If you've got the time and money to pull lists, you can pull probate lists, you can pull divorce lists, you can pull foreclosure lists, you can pull absentee owners with high equity. Let me just skip ahead 1 second. Okay, I got a lot more information. If you have no money, what my sister was doing that made, we probably bought 5 houses in Charlottesville with my sister, going onto the tax website, looking at absentee owners who own their home for more than 15 years and sending them a letter. So what I'm trying to do today is I'm trying to remove all the barriers. You guys might have excuses. Well, I don't have money. Well, I don't have this. Well, I can break down every excuse anyone has in this room, and one of them is, well, I don't have that much money. Well, I didn't have any money either, but I adapted. I did what I could. So you guys all have access for free to the Maryland site. You can go into any city in Maryland and pull a list of absentee owners. So, and start handwriting envelopes while you're sitting there watching TV on a Saturday night or whatever. Direct mail, we get our list from ListSource right now. So what we do is we pull 50 to 100% equity, meaning the homeowner has 50 to 100% equity in their home. They've owned it for 20 plus years, and you can do owner occupied and non-owner occupied. So you guys all have, again, when you're doing your budget, if you're going to buy the list, then you just factor that into your cost, and you figure that in as a cost to do business. expresshomebuyers.com/Kent F, whatever that is. Kent Clothier has a system for finding high equity and vacant properties. So you guys have access, you can get access to that. There is a cost involved. But he is a way to find vacant high equity homes. So I'm just trying to throw at you guys all the resources that we use and that we know about. His name is Kent Clothier, but you can get to him by going to that URL. And I repeated myself there. If no money, just pull the absentee and own for 15 plus years. We find that we do a lot of research on our customers. We find that the average, we did this a couple years ago, we looked at hundreds and hundreds of deals, and we found that our average person owned their house for 20 years. So when you guys are, taking calls and you see, trying to gauge a level of motivation, a lot of times if someone just bought a house 4 or 5 years ago, there's going to be no equity in there. So if you're going to target someone who's owned the house for a long time. And by the way, those folks moving into the retirement communities, a lot of times they'll have their house paid off, so you don't have to worry about a mortgage. Bandit signs on wheels, the cost is really anywhere from $30 to $50 per car. I know some folks around the country that this is working really well with. Actually, when I started, I had huge magnets that said "We Buy Houses" on the side of my car. I got 3 properties from one guy in West Virginia. One was a mobile home. One was a property that his brother was in, and he didn't want to kick him out. And I think I made $30,000, $40,000 that I wouldn't have made had I not put that on my car. I also had almost like the pizza delivery thing on the top, cardboard that said "We Buy Houses." The problem is that they would fly off when I was going down the interstate, and they were heavy, so I stopped doing that. But again, I'm trying to tell you guys all the really inexpensive things you can do to drum up business, and this will work. People drive around and they'll see that sign, just like they'll call off a sign that's on a telephone pole, fair offer for your house, they will call you. There's a system out there where it's affiliate system. We tried it. We just didn't put the resources into it. But you see that extension right there? You can actually go out and market this. You can give people an extension, and then if a deal comes in, you can pay them on that, almost like a multi-level marketing type thing. Again, there's a system, the guy's last name is Perez, I don't remember his first name, but you can actually create a little business where you have 20 or 50 cars out, and as those deals come in, you just pay the person that puts it on their car. Driving for dollars, it's a popular low-cost tactic. Look for abandoned, rundown properties. You can research, you can mail the person, you can call. Listen to a podcast about 6 months ago, and there's a young couple in Miami driving around. They saw a really, really sketchy house. They tracked down the owner. It was an out-of-state owner, and they made $80,000 on the deal. So again, doesn't cost a lot of money, but the gas, if you see a vacant, rundown house, go talk to the neighbors, because neighbors don't like vacant, rundown houses. Go talk to the neighbors. Hey, do you know whose house this is? Can I get a phone number? I mean, you can even offer to pay them. Hey, we're going to come in. We're going to fix this house up. We're going to make your neighborhood better. Can you tell me who owns this blighted, rundown property? The budget anywhere from $0 to $200 a month. Auctions. So I got a good friend of mine in California who is younger than I am and is extremely wealthy from doing auctions. He started doing auctions in 2008, and they've done thousands of houses so far. What we have found, our experience has been that the prices go way too high at auctions for us to make any money. Frankly, I don't know, how these folks are making money buying at auctions. I don't have any experience with Baltimore auctions. This is mostly Northern Virginia and Prince George's County. Prince George's County, the spreads are there. The bad thing about auctions, though, is it requires money. So we started thinking about doing this on a large scale, and we decided not to, because as much capital as we have, if you take $10,000 or $15,000 per house, which is the typical, call it deposit or down payment, and you try to bid on 10 houses a month, that's a lot of money that sits there because it takes forever to get these properties to settlement. Maryland is just a tough state. So I'm guessing it's the same way in Baltimore. So we did buy a couple of properties back in 2007, 2008, 2009, and the market was declining. So by the time we got, it was almost like the builder experience. By the time it got through the pipeline, the values were so far down, and we had to buy the house, and we lost money on the house. So I hope that makes sense. In a declining market, when you have to wait to buy a house, which you have to do in an auction, it's the worst thing you can possibly do. If you guys do go to the auctions, though, just a quick tip, don't bid to the very end. If you start and you put in your bid immediately, you're setting up unneeded competition against yourself because the person's going back and forth. Have your number, don't go above your number, but come in at the very, very end so you're not creating other bidders against yourself that you don't need to. And the budget is free up until the point that you win the house, and then you have to have a big check. So this is we're now switching a little bit more to the Champaign budget.